Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash, and I want to say Shalom, Yakunakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson, and this is a little quick hit. And this one's about, trying to maintain peace in a life of chaos, all right, in a world of chaos, and just behaving peacefully. We got two scriptures here, and we're going to go into the etymology of what peace is. Okay, and it's a little short little lesson. It might be around 10 minutes if anything. And the first one that came to my mind here, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, is Romans 12:8. As a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and also get it in the see if we can get it in the Good News translation as well. Let me get it right here. It's like, yeah, this always changes when you mess with it. So right here. So first we're going to get it in the King James version, which is on the right, and it reads Romans 12:18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peacefully with all men. Now that doesn't mean just Israelites. All right, that means everyone. All right, heathens. There's going to be times we're going to have to be around heathens, all right, or people that you don't like, and you're going to have to remain peaceful, okay, and not warring, okay, not warring with them, okay. Now, don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean, that means you should cut the Edomites and the heathens some slack. Absolutely not, okay. But you can do it in a peaceful way. For example, if an Edomite comes up to you and says, "Hey, man, how you doing?" You'll "Fuck away from you, fucking Edomite." All right, you don't know, all right. Edomite walks up, says, "Hey, how you doing?" "Hey, man, what's going on?" Right? And that's it. All right. You got an Edomite at your job or out on the street or whatever. You don't need to act like a hostile. Really, you don't need to act like a jackass. Okay? You don't need to act like a jackass. Okay? And that's what Jake does a lot of times. They act like a "Get away from me, man. I don't know your ass. Get away from me." All right? You're acting like a fool. Okay? You're acting like a fool. Okay? Yeah, we get it. They're Edomites. They're going into captivity regardless. All right? The Lord's gonna deal with them. Okay, and we'll have our way, all right, with them in captivity, all right, when it gets to that point, all right. But we can't put the chains on before it's time, okay, if that makes any sense to you. We can't bring out the whips, all right, before they've been given to us. So if you have an Edomite that comes by and says, "Hey, man, how are you doing? What are you doing today? Good weather." You say, "Hey, yeah, man, how are you? Doing good?" "Yep." "All right, man, have a good one." "You too, man. Don't get away from me, you smelly little fucking Edomite. I know all y'all touch dogs, y'all dog fucker, Edomite." No. Just calm down. When we make these lessons, yeah, of course, we're talking about that. We're not dealing with every Edomite like that. We're not walking through Walmart, all right, or whatever grocery store, eyeing all the Edomites down, all right, that you may or may not know who are, all right, because you're just going off of what skin color, all right. So some of those so-called black people you see walking around that store are Edomites too. Okay, there's another thing. You got to judge righteous judgment. You're just going off of skin color. That's ridiculous. Okay, you have to be peaceful. Same thing with a homosexual, man. All right, you have a homosexual at your job. You can, "Hey, you fucking sissy boy, body boy, sissy boy, queer." No, you're gonna lose your job. Okay, you just gotta be peaceful with it. It's gonna be vexing. All right, but you gotta live peacefully if it's possible. All right, like it says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peacefully with all men. You're gonna have people you don't like. You're gonna have people you don't want to talk to. There's gonna be people that get on your nerves. But you can't just freak out and be an asshole. All right, and just be violent and warring and aggressive towards them. All right, no. Now if someone on the highways and byways or on the comment board is being an asshole, all right, against the truth, that's a different thing. Okay. But you can't just go up to someone that's just minding their business and start being a prick. "Hey, you motherfucker. Hey, you fuck you. I know you're an Edomite." No. All right. Romans 12:18 in the Good News translation. Do everything possible on your part to live in peace with everybody. Live at peace. Because mind you, doing that is disrupting your peace as well. Okay. Not only are you disrupting theirs, but really, arguably, that they don't deserve. All right. The Edomites don't. All right. But you're disrupting your peace as well. And also, it's not circumspect. So now you're going to get yourself in a bad situation. All right, whether that person has a gun on them and they shoot you because they are an Edomite after all right, if they happen to be one, or they call the cops on you and you get, disorderly or disturbing the peace or whatever they decide to put on you. Okay, you know, a noise complaint because here it is, you're yelling your ass off. So no, you can't do that, right? So peace means freedom from civil disorder, internal peace of a nation, from Anglo-Saxon or Old peace, reconciliation, silence, permission, from Latin, compact, agreement, treaty of peace, tranquility, or absence of war. Okay, and warring, warring is, if you're, what does it mean to be, right here it says friendly relations between two people. It doesn't even have to be friendly, it just means to be cordial. All right, cordial. Okay, what does it mean?
Cordial.
Which, I mean, it still means friendly in a way, but cordial, warm and friendly, pleasant. Cordial, being cordial with someone is, someone says, hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, I'm doing good, how are you, man? Not, fuck out of here, you fucking dirty little Edomite. I don't like your ass. All right? No, that's not being cordial at all. Cordial is being pleasant. Now, does this apply when it comes to truth and you got an Edomite that's coming up and saying shit? No. All right? You don't have to be pleasant. You have to do what's right under the truth, all right, and preach that word. All right? And it's going to cut them, as it says, the truth's sharper than any two-edged sword, right? But when you're out and about and out in your life and at Walmart and driving around and at the gas station and at the car wash, all right, and at work, and you have an Edomite say hello, all right, or even if you are on the highways and byways or on YouTube and someone says hello, oh, so they said hello. How you doing? All right. Of course, you're going to be like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Right? You'll even see the elders and apostles when they've chatted with Edomites that have come by. And they're like, you fucking dirty little stupid fucking. No. It's not how it goes, man. Now, if they start acting a fool, all right, yeah, you can be like, hey, man, get the fuck out of here, right? I don't want to deal with you, okay? Get out of here if they start acting a fool. And don't try to push them to act a fool either. Or, and even in that situation, be careful with your words, because you never know how crazy these people are. But again, you got to use your own discernment. We can't use discernment for you. You got to use it, okay? We're not going to be there when you get into a situation. You say, what do I do? I don't know, man. Try to use your discernment, right? So, yeah, man, you just got to be, try to live a austere, humble, peaceful. Don't be, we make these lessons and we get heated, but we're not walking around, like a pit bull, all right, looking for someone to bark at. That's not what we do. We go about our life, get our groceries, come home, and that's it. We make these lessons, all right, but we're dealing with Edomites. You don't know who's an Edomite out there unless they directly say something that proves them to be an Edomite. Or, at a job, you're more likely to tell who's an Edomite, but you got to run in with someone for, 1 minute at a grocery store. Sometimes that's enough to tell if they're an Edomite or not. But sometimes, what if they're a really lost Jake? Okay, what if they're a Jake whose great grandfather was a so-called black man, a Jake man? It goes back to the tribe, of whoever, Judah or wherever, Levi or Benjamin, for the southern kingdom, or even northern kingdom. They go back to Manasseh or Ephraim or Naphtali or any of these tribes, right? But 7, 8, 9 generations ago, they've been living in fucking Tennessee or Kentucky, all right? And here it is now, they're rednecks. It's like, hey, man, I like country music. What do you do, man? I rarely see a colored folk out here. I sure do love them colored folk, man. I wish there was more of you out of here, man. It's a damn shame we're out here. There ain't no diversity or nothing or anything like that, man. I bet you like chicken. And you say, man, this guy's racist. He mentioned chicken. That guy could very well, in his ignorance, all the way go back to being a Jake. All right. And even the apostles said some of those rednecks aren't Edomites, but Jakes. Okay. Think about it. They got that culture. All right. And that's the thing you got to realize, man. Just because you had an instance that someone said some things or they came off wrong, you got to realize some of those people have been without their Jake roots for centuries, however long. Right? Generations, centuries, however long they've been without it. So, and they've been raised around other white people, so they're very lost. All right, and it's the same thing go with Chinese people or Arabic people or whatever. All right, they seem to be Chinese or Arabic, but way back during the scattering of the diaspora of Israel, a Jake man from the tribe of Judah popped them, or a Jake man, from the tribe of Manasseh or Reuben. All right. Went over there, all right, and popped them. And here it is, after that, they didn't really have no more Jake. Jake, left out of that area. But they kept on having kids, and you don't even know that kid's a Jake, and they're gonna act like a regular Chinese person or a regular Arabic person or a regular white person, so-called, all right, wherever nation that they're around. Okay, they're gonna speak that language, all right, cook and make those foods and enjoy those foods, all right, probably even worship their gods because they're astray. They don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're doing, all right, and you're gonna mark them off quick as a heathen, all right, just because the way they look. All right, or the way they talk, because they talk like this, all right, or they have Arabic accent, all right, and you say, oh well, that's an Ishmaelite, all right. No, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. That's not righteous. That's not righteous judgment. Okay, so just putting that out there. Here it is. You're trying to have hostility with this person instead of peace, and it's another Jake, and you just don't even know. Well, they said some racist shit about fried chicken. Look, man. You don't know who that person can go back to be. Would you get mad if another black person said something about fried chicken? No, you wouldn't. What if this person's just black and a coverage of white, right? Not black, but you know what I'm talking about. All right, an Israelite, just like you. All right, but in a veil of white. All right, because they put if you put too much creamer in a coffee, it won't look dark brown no more. I don't know if you know that or not. Okay, but it's still coffee. It still tastes like it. It'll still get you amped up like coffee, but it just won't look like it. It'll look like milk. Okay? So there's a lot of milk out there that goes back to being coffee, if you know what I'm saying. So you can't just, that same with me. I get dirty looks from Jake all the time. All right? And at the same time, I got dirty looks from IUIC. Believe it or not. Me and my wife, my wife's so-called black woman, but we actually believe she looks like a so-called black woman, but we believe she goes back to Gad. Okay? And we're rolling through, and this Smith's, which out here it's like it's a Kroger. All right, it's basically a Kroger. They have Smith's, Kroger, Fry's, Fred Meyer. They're all the same. They're all the same thing. They're all a Kroger store, right? Or Myers, right? They're all the same as in a shell, I think, right? Fred Meyer's. And they have all, they're there out in front of the Smiths. All right, handing out pamphlets, and they were gonna hand my wife a pamphlet. And then they saw me, instantly went away. All right, so and I blame them and I don't blame them. All right, because it looks like I'm a so-called white person, but little do they know that I'm a person that's actually a Hebrew Israelite. I follow GMS, so they wouldn't have liked that very much. But I actually wanted one of those pamphlets just to see what was going on in there, man. But they didn't want to hand me one. All right, because I wasn't the right color. But little did they know they passed up a Jake, all right, by doing that, okay? And the Lord knows that. So that's just how it goes. You can't, a little lesson within a lesson. Now we're getting on to speckled birds. But but that's the truth. You think, oh, this Edomite. It could be someone like me. And I get looked at by Jake out there, and they see me, oh, this fucking white guy. I blame you, but I don't blame you at the end of the day because you're not smart enough you're not using spiritual discernment. You're just using your eyes. All right. That's why the Lord told Samuel, look not on his countenance. All right. For I refuse him. All right. Don't look on his stature. None of that. Right. For men look on the outward appearance. For the Lord looketh on the heart. All right. Roughly paraphrasing. That's why you got to learn to judge like that. Okay. You can't just be like, oh, this person over here, they're an Edomite because they look white. Okay. Well, what about all the so-called black people on the East Coast that are plantation babies? All right, that came from the white man's seed. All right, but they're black though because they're black. They're Jake because they're black. Meanwhile, this guy, and over here they're the Hodge twins. All right, they're over here Candace Owens. All right, which I think Candace Owens is more than likely an Edomite. She could be a Jake. You never know. She gets sassy sometimes, so she could be. But I think she's probably an Edomite. That's just my assumption. That's not doctrine or anything. That's just what I assume. I assume she's probably more than likely an Edomite, but she does have a little bit of that Jake sassiness in her sometimes, so it's really hard to tell. Just the way she does things, though, she's either an Edomite or she's probably the biggest coon I've ever seen in my life. But there's a lot of them out there. All right, there's a lot of them out there on the internet. But the Hodge twins, their daddy's white, so that guy, they're Edomites. All right, they're Edomites. And even if your daddy's white, that don't always mean you're an Edomite, because your dad can be white, but his dad or his dad's dad or his dad's dad's dad might not be. Again, it's not about skin color. You go back 10 generations and look white, but here it is somehow that you understand the scriptures. You can teach, you go on the highways and byways, you make lessons on YouTube or whatever you do, and the Lord wouldn't put the spirit on an Edomite or a heathen. Okay, so you'd have to be an Israelite. Okay, people that say, "Oh, you're an Edomite," well, that's crazy because I don't know how I had the Spirit put on me to call upon the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, teach in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and teach like the Hebrew Israelites. When here I am, I'm just a little old Edomite. That wouldn't make any sense. Okay, Lord doesn't put the Spirit on Edomites or heathens of any variety. That is. Okay. Anyway, let me get the scripture. We'll close out. This is Psalms 34 and 40. Just a warning on remaining peaceful, because some of the people that you have beef with, or you're trying to they go back to being your long lost cousin. All right, and you wouldn't even know it. But Psalm 34 and 14: depart from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. Get it over here in the NIV. We'll do it with this. It says, turn from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. All right, seek peace. Now let's get the definition of peace, but let's get it from Google.
Peace.
Freedom from disturbance, calm, tranquility, calm. Okay. It also goes back to order. There you go. Still, quiet, hush. All right. Privacy, solitude, just, calm. Be calm. Just seek calmness and solitude. All right. We're not constantly stressed out, and and you're gonna be stressed out here, but read, sit down, read a book, watch a little bit of TV, of course, after you get your lessons done, and just maintain a peaceful, austere life. Okay, you don't need to be going out and raising hell, as they say. So that's a lesson. All right, we're gonna close out there. Just a little short one. How long was it? 16 minutes, perfectly fine. So yeah, we're gonna close out there. Lord and what was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom, you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Till next one, Lord willing. Shalom.